Okay. Right. Okay. Second. Right. Okay. So, hi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, and thank you all for joining us this evening. First of all, wishing you all Ramadan Kareem. May this blessed month bring you and your family health, happiness, and peace. So, as you all know, today's session is all about understanding how nutrition plays an important role in young footballers' performance, growth, and recovery. So, especially during this Ramadan when eating routines change. Um, Obviously, the aim is to give parents and players some practical guidance that you can actually apply in daily routine. Um, so here we are pleased to have Ms. Saumya Mishra with us tonight to lead the session. Saumya is a qualified nutritionist with extensive experience working in leading hospitals and healthcare environment. And she's also the founder of Beyond Care, where she focuses on helping individuals improve their health through proper nutrition guidance. So we're happy to have you here with us, Saumya. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And Ramadan Kareem, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you. At the end of the session, we'll also have a short Q&A. So please feel free to ask if you have any questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure Saumya will do her best to answer them. And if there is anything that needs further follow-ups, we will make sure we get back to you afterwards. So without further delay, over to you, Saumya. Go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Shavil. Thank you for this lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. Now that, okay. So, first of all, since we are doing this session just when Ramadan, the blessed month, is going to start from tomorrow. So we'll keep that as a focus. But please feel free, ask your question. I love doing session when my audience is interactive. So as many questions as you may have, please either note it down or put them in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer them all. Yeah. So because the more interactive it is, the more would be your takeaway from this session. And that's exactly what I want to do today. So, so the goal today is, to help young athletes to play in a way wherein their energy, hydration, recovery, and performance during training gets leveled up. Okay. What I usually see, I work with a lot of pre-athletes, and what I usually see that their dropout rate gets more as they go ahead in the game. Am I right? Usually, when they are young, they start with full enthusiasm and with full swing. But as the pressure increases, not only in terms of football and training, but also in terms of other phases of life, like education and other social activities, it gets disturbed. So it's very important that we focus on these 5 points. That is energy, hydration, recovery, and performance during the training. Okay. And while the athlete does all this, we also have to ensure that there is no deficiency that's affecting the growth and recovery of the child. Okay. So before we get into the athlete's fasting challenge, I feel these are the usual challenges even during the summer month, which is the most prevalent or the longest time of the year in UAE, right? So, in athlete fasting challenge, even if we remove the fasting or we take the fasting, most important thing is that there's something called glycogen. Now, what is glycogen? So, glycogen is the energy reserve, the way body stores the energy in the liver, that's called the glycogen reserve. Okay, and glycogen reserves gets depleted very easily. A lot of time you may have heard a lot of athletes or your child must be saying, even if I don't eat, my performance doesn't get affected and I play equally good and it doesn't matter. I'll come back and eat. I'll go without eating. So what it does, it may not affect him visibly, but over a period of time, the performance would go down. Why? Because glycogen reserve would go down. Now, what is glycogen reserve? Glycogen is basically how our body stores excess sugar or excess energy for the period of intense activity. Okay, it gets stored in the liver. Whenever, whenever we or athlete, anyone, if we actually get into an intense activity session, whether it's exercise or it's a main game, their body, you cannot eat and run or eat and play or eat and train, right? So how does body gets energy during these intense session? It is the glycogen reserve. Okay, it is the glycogen reserve that gives the energy. So it is very important. So whenever somebody goes and plays or train, empty stomach without proper eating, the glycogen reserves gets depleted. And the more glycogen reserves gets depleted, over a period of time, the performance will go down. Okay. So what should we do? So there's something which we called as carbohydrate loading, which helps in building up a glycogen reserve. Now, the question is, what is carbohydrate loading? So carbohydrate loading is when, depending on an athlete or the timing of the game, whenever we see, let's say you have to play your game tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Now, obviously, you're not going to wake up at 4 o'clock and eat and then give 2 hours of gap so that body builds up on glycogen and then go and play. So, how we strategize that meal? We plan a heavy meal at least 9 to 11 hours ahead of the game. Okay, so that the body gets enough glycogen to store, because this excess carb, obviously you're not going to run after the dinner, right? So this excess carb that you have taken at dinner, your liver will store it as a glycogen. Okay. Now next morning, you cannot use glycogen as soon as you wake up. You will only use glycogen when you get active. But then you need energy to get active, right? So for that quick energy, you need one small carb dense snack. Okay. So when we strategize a meal for glycogen reserve and one meal for quick energy replenishment, we call it carbohydrate loading. I hope this part is clear. If you all have any questions regarding this part, please put it in a chat box. Now I'll give you some example of how to do it. So let's say tomorrow, around a hypothetical situation. I know tomorrow is Ramadan, nobody's going to play during the day. But let's take an example that tomorrow, if you have a game which is going to start at 9 o'clock, then your carbohydrate loading should start from 9, at least 8 o'clock of the previous evening. So eat a meal which has 50% carbohydrate. It could be a rice-based meal with some chicken and some vegetable salad. If you're a vegetarian, then you can pair it with some beans or lentils. But it should be a right combination of complex carbohydrates and protein. Now, this is the first part of carbohydrate loading. Second part would be to have a quick energy dense snack just before the game, which is like half an hour before the game. So 8:30, you should have a banana, maybe two small banana and one date, or you can have 2 or 3 dates with one small coffee shot. Okay, very small coffee shot, like in a kava cup, something like that. That's called carbohydrate loading. The same logic applies during the fasting also. Like you break the fast, let's say around 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So, and if you're planning to train during Ramadan, so your training must be before dinner or after dinner, because there's no time to build up on carb, right? So you should have an energy dense iftar. So your iftar could be a fruit chaat, which is again a lot of fruit sugar will come. and lemon water and some coffee and some dates. Go and train, because now everything that you have taken now will give you instant boost of energy. So now go, train yourself, and then your dinner, give yourself at least 30 minutes break and then have your dinner. So this way, what will happen? Your recovery will get better. Next morning, when you wake up for suhoor, you will not wake up feeling tired or famished. Okay? So I told you, I've explained two things. One, I've explained carbohydrate loading during the non-fasting days. Second, carbohydrate loading during the fasting days. Now let's come back to the slide. Fluids for long hours. So honestly speaking, if you're taking too much salt, too much sugar, then you're always going to be dehydrated. You may wonder why, because your urine excretion will increase. The osmotic pressure will ensure that your bladder is always full and you'll go on excreting more urine than usual. So, what is a good way to maintain hydration? Let's first discuss the normal days. Normal days, try to ensure maximum hydration at least 3 hours before the event. Okay. And during the event, it is encouraged and it is recommended that you keep sipping on electrolytes, because electrolytes have better hydration. Along with electrolytes, you can also take lemon water. Lemon water, vitamin C is also very, very hydrating. So it quenches the thirst very, very easily. Okay. It is also very important to see that hydration is on point, because if the hydration is not on point, your muscle will not recover as quickly as they should. Okay. And that may lead to cramping and pain issue later, maybe post event also. Okay. And dehydration definitely affects the stamina. Okay. Now, let's come back to this. This is for the normal days. Now let's come back to suhoor. If you have not well hydrated, so how do you make sure that you get well hydrated from suhoor itself? First of all, whatever tea and coffee you intend to take in the morning, take it in a very small amount. Make sure your suhoor meal is a combination of high protein and complex carb and some fruit. Remember, fruits are always rich in potassium. The more potassium you take, better would be your hydration. And if you have not taken care of this part, trust me, everybody starts. I have been working in UAE for past 17 years. And one very strong observation that I've had is everybody starts Ramadan on a very high note, all charged up, all grocery and pantries are stocked up and everything. But if you are not disciplined and you're not taking care of the routine, sometime after the second week, everybody's body starts giving up. Okay. And that's where the problem stuck in. However, if you plan and manage yourself well, after the 2 weeks, Ramadan should feel easy. And people who plan well, they are the one who actually end up losing some weight and getting some health benefit during this holy month of fasting. Okay. Now, um, should you eat a lot before training? I'll come to the iftar part, but I also want everyone to understand this. See, if you have eaten, like we were just discussing carbohydrate loading. So what did I say? You can have a carb dense meal. You can have rice and chicken and some vegetable. You can have chapati, chicken and some vegetable. You can have basically one portion of carb with chicken, which is protein, and vegetable, which is fiber. Now, this can be easily translated into chicken biryani with some with some fancy raita and salads. Will this help? No. Biryani would come with its own condiments and with its own spices, and that makes digestion difficult. Have you noticed how much you felt sleepy after a very, very heavy meal? Similarly, a very heavy meal takes longer. Like if you've taken, let's say, mutton biryani, okay? So it's gonna take, or if you've taken mandi with lot of red meat, it's going to take longer to get converted into glycogen. And if it is going to take longer to get converted into like glycogen, you will feel sluggish, you will feel sleepy, your training wouldn't be fueled up properly. So in spite of eating, the way I said, you won't you won't enjoy your training session as much as you should. So eating is not a problem. Overeating is a problem. Not eating right is a problem. But if you eat right, there's nothing that comes in the way of your training and your performance. Yeah. So, since, like I said, we are discussing normal days as well, but let's understand there are three meals. I've identified actually three meal timings for Ramadan for any athletes, which is very crucial. The first is suhoor, which is your fuel tank. You need to eat suhoor so that you do not deplete your glycogen reserve. And throughout the day, you stay focused and active rather than being dull and tired. Okay, so suhoor meal is your fuel tank. Why iftar is important? Because iftar is your recovery window. And also, if you intend to, uh, you know, uh, if you intend to train during the later part, it is recommended that you take a light, like I just said, take a fruit chart. Don't take too many fried items. Take a fruit chart, take a juice, have some black tea or black coffee, or maybe chana chart, and then go and have enjoy your training and come back and then have your meal. And that will be yeah, so somebody said that they usually get headache in first 3 to 7 days. See, headache, there could be two reasons to this. One is because your body is getting adjusted to an alternative source of energy. If you are always very high on carbohydrate, then depriving yourself from carbohydrate would mean that your body need to switch to glycogen reserve for energy utilization purposes. That process takes at least 24 to 48 hours, in some cases 72 hours, okay? So that time you may feel a bit of headache. Ideally, what I would recommend, I once had a local lady as my client, and she told me something very nice, that how she prepares herself for Ramadan. She said that 1 week before actually the Ramadan starts, she starts training her body for Ramadan. So she increases her, you know, timing between the two meals. She also sees to it that while she's only having three meals and there's no snack in between, so that slowly the body knows how to switch and use more glycogen as a fuel than only relying on glucose. So probably that could be solution, and also hydration. Like this year, Ramadan is falling in a milder weather. Just 2, 3 years back, it was during the summers, and it may have been very hard at that point. Yeah. So, suhoor is your fuel tank. Iftar is your recovery window. Please do not eat a big meal at iftar and then go for training at 9 o'clock. What is recommended is have your fruits, have your chana chaat, have some, a fresh juice. Go for your training, come back, and then have your meal. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Nighttime, if you take care of your hydration, that really helps in muscle repair. Okay, now during the normal days, if somebody is going for a training session, especially in case of football, see what happens. It's a game which does not involve a 5 hours of gaming window, right? It's a high intensity but not very long duration game. So the spurt of quick energy which is required is really high. So anything that you want to do to which can affect your performance, you need to make sure that you do it consistently and train your body. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is that establish a routine. A good routine would, I can tell you when we do one-on-one and customize the routine for you. But do not train at different times of the day. Don't change your routine every now and then. It is highly recommended in case of athletes because if you keep changing the time of training, then obviously your meal timings will keep changing, right? If your meal timings keep changing, then your body would never know when to use glycogen, when to use glucose as an energy reserve, and which will eventually affect your performance. So, the first rule is to stay true to the routine. See what routine will work for you, how that fits in with your trainer and everything, and then stay true to the routine. I've seen people, especially in case of young athletes, I've seen like, okay, today I'm busy, let me do it in the morning. Okay, to this weekend I'm going out, let me do in evening. Don't do like that. The more you stay consistent with the routine, more you can stay consistent with your diet, and that eventually affects your performance. Yeah. So I have also prepared some suhoor guidelines. Since from tomorrow, if any one of you intend to train, it's gonna be Ramadan. But otherwise, what should be the breakfast? Okay, any one of you want to write in a chat box? I would love to hear some inputs. No one? Okay. So, first, let's do the suhoor guidelines. So in suhoor, there are three things which is very important to include because after suhoor, you start the fasting, which is going to be as long as 14 to 15 hours, right? So it has to be slow carbs, which releases energy slowly and gradually over a period of time. Okay. So what are the example of slow carbs? Slow carbs like oats and dalia, brown bread or whole wheat roti, sweet potato, and some people I've seen they take rice and dal combo as well. Okay. So these are your slow carbs. Okay. And how to pair them with protein? So a good protein, the best source of protein is egg. So never miss if you are into eating eggs and you're not vegetarian, please include at least one boiled egg every day in your breakfast. It protects your muscle. Because if you get into intense training and you're not taking right amount of protein, eventually the muscle degradation start, muscles breakdown start, and which affect your performance. So it's important that you take at least one or two eggs every day. Greek yogurt is a very good idea. Around 80 to 90 gram of Greek yogurt will give you 7 to 8 grams of protein. Okay. Laban is a diluted Laban is a diluted form of yogurt, okay? So I wouldn't consider it as a very good source of protein, but since it is readily available and easily available in UAE, so that's why I said if not Greek yogurt, then go for Laban. If you're into dairy and you tolerate it well, please include paneer. You can also have dal sprouts like moong sprout or black chana or brown chana sprout. These are the good options to include as protein. Healthy fats also ensure good absorption of fat soluble vitamin and mineral, but they also ensure that there is slow release of energy throughout the day during the fasting hours. However, for people who are not fasting and during the non-fasting day, my recommended routine is start your day with a good fruit yogurt is too much of sugar, actually. There's no fruit. It's a flavor of a fruit, lot of sugar and yogurt. Okay. So if you're talking about store-bought fruit yogurt, for me, it's more like a dessert. It's not a source of protein. Okay. But if you really want to have fruit yogurt, take the normal yogurt, normal white plain yogurt, Add the fruit of your choice and have it. That's a good option. And that's actually a real fruit yogurt. The one which is packaged and processed and we get it in store is more like having sugar. Okay. So, like I said, healthy fats, nuts, peanut butter, olive oil, seed, chia, and flax seeds. Okay. So, what do I recommend during the non-fasting days? During the non-fasting days, what I recommend, start your day with something that hydrates and keeps your gut pH neutral. Now, what could be that? The best thing to do is 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, soak it in a glass of water, leave it overnight, and next morning, as soon as you get up, have it as a first thing in the morning. So, what would you have first thing in the morning? Overnight soaked fennel seeds. Once you've had that, then freshen up, do your daily stuff, and then start your day with nuts. Soak nuts, like 5 to 8 soaked nuts, and a fruit is a very good breakfast. I see a lot of kids who say that morning it's too much rush, I have to reach a school, the bus comes at 6 o'clock, and things like that. In that case, the easiest breakfast is nuts, fruit, and egg. Now, this would be a perfect combination of all three nutrients that I have mentioned here. Fruit is your carb, egg is your protein, and nuts is your healthy fat. Yeah. So always start your day with some hydrating yourself, followed by nuts and seed, and then a good combination of carbs and protein. After today's session, what I actually expect all of you to do is when you look at your plate, then think of it like, am I having the right combination of protein and carbohydrate? If you're doing that, you'll also realize that your energy levels are good, your digestion is good, and eventually, if you practice this as a habit every single day, you'll see your performances getting better. Okay? What is to be avoided? So, somebody just asked about the fruit yogurt. There may be a lot of you. We get in UAE everything that we can think of, right? So, sugary cereal, you walk in a supermarket aisle and you'll see rows and rows of fancy cartons of sugary breakfast cereal. That is to be avoided. That's way too processed, way too sugar, not going to help you. There are people who thrive only on tea and toast or tea and biscuits only. Hmm. So, what to do then? So, if you're only thriving on tea and biscuits or fried paratha dailies because that's what cooked at home, then, like I said, stick to the basic. What I have asked you all to do doesn't even require much of a cooking. Boiling an egg is the only cooking part. Nuts and seed, you just have to soak. Fruit, you just have to cut. Okay. Too many fried snack, whether it is suhoor or non-fasting days, is not recommended. Leftover meat, if I've seen a lot of people having nihari or leftover meat from night, next day morning in the breakfast, trust me, it only leads to acidity, it leads to inflammation flare up, and nothing comes easy. Yeah. So iftar, I always feel iftar is a recovery meal after 15 hours of fasting. And like we have discussed, let's just, have it in a systematic way. So this is the three-step rule. Breakfast should be light, like 1 or 2 dates with water, fruit or soup. Main meal should be a balanced plate of carbs, protein, and veg. Like I said, rice, roti, pasta, chicken, fish, dal, paneer. Vegetable, either salad. Salad is uncooked vegetable. Sabzi is a cooked vegetable. Okay. And if you're going to train, then it can be banana and milk, it can be smoothie, it can be yogurt and honey. Also, if you're someone who's into protein shake, you're grown up like 15 or 16-year-old, then and you're vegetarian, it's highly recommended to start with a good quality whey protein shake. Which one to choose? You can get in touch with me. I can help you find the right one. But take the right protein shake in terms of plain whey plus half of a fruit and then just blend it in a water. That's a very good training snack. Okay. A thick whey protein smoothie with a fruit is a complete meal in itself. However, during fasting, just follow this framework. If you all want, you all can take a screenshot of this framework. So now, since we are into Ramadan, we do understand that the time to hydrate gets limited. It's only between iftar and suhoor. Otherwise, there'll be 15 hours of fasting, right? So, target at least 6 to 8 glasses of water, which will make it around 2 liters of water. Okay. What all you can have? You can have water, coconut water, laban. Dilute the laban if you feel that helps. You can dilute the laban. Homemade electrolyte like water, lemon with a pinch of salt is a good idea. What to do on the other days? Okay, so for other days, I have lot of hydration strategies. Few of them are like as the summer sets in, like we are in almost winter is over and we have already started with the first leg of summer, right? So the best hydration strategy is lemon, water, and salt. What we have to do, put it in an ice tray, freeze the cube, and in case you are in between the game and you don't want to drink too much water because that makes it uncomfortable to run and score a goal, the best thing to do would be take one of those cubes, put it in your mouth, let it hydrate your upper palate, lower palate, and spit it out. So this I'm telling while there are no fasting days and you are in the game and you cannot afford to drink a lot of or gulp a lot of water but still feel thirsty. So this is a very effective strategy that you freeze the electrolyte and take that ice, keep it in your mouth like a candy or a lolly for some time and then spit it out. That really helps. Adding little bit of lemon to coconut water is also very helpful. We also do a lot of coconut water smoothies. There are 5, 6 variation of coconut water smoothie that helps in better hydration during the summer. But for now, let's just keep it simple that these are your hydration options. And once again, I'm repeating, if you're taking tea and coffee, it's not hydrating, whether it's cold coffee or it's lemon tea, it will never hydrate. It just increases the volume of urine that you excrete. It even makes you more dehydrated. Okay. So too much caffeine and soft drink is a big no-no. If you're training before iftar, keep your intensity light because you're already in the mid of fasting. And focus also when you train during this holy month of Ramadan, your focus should be more on building skill rather than working on endurance. Okay. So skill is like for playing every sport requires you to have certain skill, right? Whether you're playing badminton, you're playing football, you're doing cricket. So focus on those micro skills or mindset and things like that. That helps you get better when the fasting gets over. Do not focus on endurance because endurance exercise basically depend on your energy levels and your nutrient levels. And if that's not met, then instead of building your endurance, you will ruin it. Okay. So focus on skill enhancement rather than on endurance. Sorry. If training is after iftar, then best option is eat light iftar. I think I've already discussed that, so I'll not repeat and get into it again. If this is helping you, please take a screenshot of this slide as well. Now, let me come back to normal days when you're training how to plan the meal. Always eat one, if it is not early morning and during the day, please eat one big meal 3 hours before your game. Okay. And just before the game, have one fruit or one coffee and date or a dark chocolate with coffee, something like that for a quick boost of energy. But please remember, during endurance event, your main source of energy is the glycogen stored in the liver. Okay. So if you want to rely on your glycogen reserve, what are the two things important? One, consistency with training so that your body gets trained to use the glycogen reserve, consistency with your diet. I hope this is clear by now. So I'm assuming most of you all are here and most of you all are parents to the kids who are playing. So these are the few red flags that you must watch in your child when he's under training. So dizziness and fainting. Okay, if this is happening, then for sure your child is either dehydrated or he's famished, he's not eaten well, and he's already on thriving on a very low glycogen reserves, which is very common in age group of 8 to 12 years. So if your child is between 8 to 12 year of age, they are not having enough glycogen reserve. They can have better glycogen reserve with, like I said, with consistency and training. So dizziness and fainting is more common in 8 to 12 years of age group. Repeated vomiting could be a sign of a stomach infection, gut health issues, or wrong food timing. So please see to it that vomiting issues are addressed on time. Severe weakness can only come by long-term nutritional deficiencies. One of few key nutritional deficiencies are vitamin D, calcium, and get a CBC test done to screen your child for iron and ferritin deficiency as well. Rapid weight loss, again, it is a sign of energy imbalance. Energy imbalance in the sense that the child is eating less and training more. So that's why child is losing weight. And if this is happening when your child is not overweight or obese, then it's definitely a red flag. Okay. Inability to train at all. Now, this would be a very big sign, a very big red flag that the child is not physically fit to even play. Okay. It could be a combination of all of these or one of these. Okay. Now, let's understand this. Fasting builds discipline, nutrition builds performance, and together your child can do both very beautifully if you plan and train their mindset accordingly. So, and the same thing goes for the normal days as well. Discipline and consistency with a routine that works with your child's school schedule, training schedule is very important for long term career or long term building up of an athlete. Yeah. So that's it from me for today. Thank you everyone for joining. If you all have any questions, I'm open to that. You all can switch on your mic and ask the question. You can also put it in chat box. I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Saumya. Let's see if someone asks, if anybody wants to ask any questions, please feel free. We'll just give you like 2 to 3 minutes.
I think most of people's mic is disabled, is it? So I don't know if you all have any question, please feel free and type them in the chat box. So Nima has asked, when we break fasting with lime, will it cause acidity? Um, Honestly, no. It shouldn't cause you any acidity unless you are already struggling with your gut health. So if you're somebody who's already struggling with your gut health, please do not try something new during Ramadan. But otherwise, if you have never had a problem, I would highly recommend break your fast with plain water, and like let's say in one glass of water, use 1/4 of a lemon. It won't cause any acidity. That's my guarantee. Yeah. I hope I answered it. The Also the good way to break the fast is, hydrate first. So the first thing should be water, followed by fruit, followed by nuts or some soup kind of thing. Because see, your stomach and your liver, everything goes into a dormant mode after 15 hours of fasting. So when you break fast with something easy to digest and hydrate the body, your organs inside, they get the signal, oh, okay. So now the food is coming, we need to get ready, secrete digestive juices and things like that.
Saumya, I could see a couple of them typing,
Yeah,
so let's give them
typing. Yeah,
time.
that's what.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
let's give them the time anyway.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have enabled the mic. Yeah.
Okay. So, any questions, any doubt, anything? There's a lot that we can do in terms of discussing supplement, but I did not want it because supplements are age specific. So it's not right to give a generic information on that. But anything regarding the food, hydration strategy, or if your child's having any gut issues while playing, I'll be happy to answer them. Or if you've observed anything that's coming in terms of their growth, I would be happy to help with that. Can we suggest probiotic yogurt for gut health? Yogurt itself is probiotic, but honestly speaking, the kind of yogurt we get nowadays, everything is processed in packets. So I mean, I would just consider it as a source of protein rather than considering it as probiotic. Also, please understand, probiotic is useless unless it is paired with prebiotics. So now what are prebiotics? Prebiotic are high fiber fruit and vegetable. These are prebiotics. So prebiotic and probiotic have to work, especially in case of sports, have to work hand in hand for better gut health. So like we were discussing fruit yogurt, it's a very good combination of prebiotic and probiotic. But yes, just to answer your question in one line, you can give probiotic yogurt, but this, I mean, yogurt is probiotic. Nobody can add extra bacteria to yogurt and make it extra probiotic. That's just marketing gimmick. If you really struggle with gut health, then there are so many other things that we can do instead of just relying on yogurt. Because in a lot of cases, I'm seeing these days, the dairy-based yogurt screws up the gut health even further. So I was just saying this only that what supplement to give should not be generic. It has to be customized as per age, height, and requirement. But in general, yes, multivitamins provide a good support. And for vitamin C, I feel it's good to include vitamin C rich fruits and vegetable in diet because please understand, if you remember during COVID, just because everybody wanted to work on their immunity, people used to have 1000 mg of vitamin C. The reality is that your body in a day can only absorb 500 mg of vitamin C, not more than that. Okay. And since vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, since vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, more than 500 mg, let's say if you've taken 1000 mg of vitamin C, everything is gonna get excreted. Okay, so 500 mg of vitamin C can be easily acquired from having vitamin C rich fruits like goji berries. All the berries are rich in vitamin C. Indian avla is very rich in vitamin C, oranges. So just include good sources of vitamin C. No need to take supplement. Multivitamin, yeah, they are generic. You can have them. No harm in having multivitamins. Is there any other question or anything else that's coming in your mind or I can help with? Any Ramadan specific? I can still see some people typing. Okay, so I think we are done. Right, Shabil? Do you think anybody else is here?
Well, I think yeah,
And
it's done. I think. Um,
yeah,
uh, okay, I think nobody's typing now. Yeah.
it's done, right?
Yeah. Can't see anyone typing now. Anyway.
Okay.
So
So thank you everyone for joining in today. And if you all have, we are planning to give a Ramadan specific handout. If you all have any specific questions or any, targeted nutrition based question for your performance recovery or during the games or snacking options, please feel free. Drop in your question to Shabil, then I would be happy to answer them. Yeah. Wish you all a
right.
blessed Ramadan and good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Soumya. Thanks for that. It was a wonderful session. I hope parents found it informative. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time to join us this evening. We truly appreciate your participation. Once again, Ramadan Kareem to everyone, and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.